So for part 4-3, this is the front view, end view, and the plan view is here, right? The commands we'll use is the mirror feature. First, I'm going to create the base. Then I'm going to do the fillet and the chamfer. And then I'll use this as a center plane to mirror it across. Okay. Before we start, always look at the drawing and study the drawing. And you can see that a lot of the dimensions originate from, of course, the ends and also the center axis. Okay, so I'm going to draw the base, and I'm going to draw it such that it is dimensioned from the center axis of 22 millimeters, so that I can then align this square, right, to the center of the part. We'll use the hole wizard to create this counter ball. We'll make use of the rib command to create this rib, right? It's a simple triangle, and there'll be some constraints that we'll be using along the way. All right, let's start by first creating a sketch, and I'll create on the top plane, and I'll just draw a simple rectangle, and the rectangle will be such that the point over here, press Ctrl, select this orange dot, and then I'll align it horizontally. Okay, now I'll start my dimensioning. The width of the entire part is 40 millimeters. The length of the other part of the entire part is 56 millimeters, and from the edge to the center is 22 millimeters. Okay, and with that, the rectangle is fully constrained. I am going to exit my sketch, and I'm going to extrude boss, and I extrude to a thickness of 6 millimeters. That's where I get my 6 millimeters from. Okay, 6 millimeters, and I enter. Right, and if you notice, your origin is here. Okay, and it is centralized. Your front plane is in the center of the whole entire workpiece. Okay, your top plane is from the bottom, right? Because there are a lot of things that are dimensioned from the bottom. Your right plane comes across here, right? So one of the commands that I'll do is the fillet, and the dimension is 6 millimeters. I'll start at this corner, right? I'll accept it. The next command is the chamfer. In the chamfer, previously I was doing angle and distance, and this time around I'll do distance. And most of the time when you click distance, the default option is symmetric. Mean to say, if you were to select this corner, from this corner, it will be 10 millimeters from the corner here and 10 millimeters from this corner. Okay, so if I were to select this edge, it would be symmetrical. Okay, 10 millimeters on both sides. But the current drawing has it asymmetrical, so there are two different distances, and if you were to move it out, you can see that distance 1 is pointing from here to over here. So this distance 1 should be 16 for me, so I'll just put here 16. Right? And distance 2 should be a smaller number, and that's 8. Oops. 8. Okay, and with that, I accept it. Right. Now I'm going to teach a new command called the mirror command, and I click this icon here that says mirror. It's under the features tab. Go across is the mirror command, and the first thing they would like you to input is where is the mirror face. It could be a face on a part, or it could be a plane, and for me, I'm using it a plane. Okay, so it's the front plane that will be a mirror, so I need to click on this black triangle to expose the feature tree. Then I click on the front plane, and the features that I want to mirror is the fillet radius and the chamfer. Okay, it doesn't register the first click, so you need to click it again so that it's registered. It's important that you check this geometry pattern, especially if you are trying to mirror chamfers. Okay, with that, you click the green tick and you are able to replicate the features that you created earlier. Right, now once this is done, I will click on the sketch, and I will draw the square boss. Okay, it's interesting that the, hang on for a second, let me control Z. Whoops, I overdid it. Let me repeat that command for the mirror. Sorry, I pressed Ctrl Z too many times, so I'm just going to repeat that on the front plane. Okay, the front plane, and the features that will mirror is the fillet and the chamfer. Okay, all right, my origin is here, that's good. And I'm now going to draw my sketch plane, sketching to this. Okay, and that's my sketch plane, and I'm going to draw normal to it. Okay, and then I'm going to draw my square. Okay, my square is 28 millimeters in on all sides, 28. And it is centralized about the origin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my mouse, select the midpoint, press Ctrl, go over to the origin, select horizontal, then it's aligned. And go over to the horizontal line, select the midpoint, and the origin, select the orange, and then I select vertical, and it's fully constrained. Okay, and from here I will extrude by 22 millimeters. Okay, so it's 22, enter, 22 millimeters, and I'll accept it. Okay, once this is accepted, the next thing I'll create is the counter ball, and I'm going to use the hole wizard to do it. Okay, the hole wizard is here, and for the position I'm going to select this face, and I'm going to select the center. The previous hole that I drew was a countersunk, so they sort of stick to the default for it. So I need to change it back to the counter ball. Custom sizing, I'm going back to the counter ball, and over here, right, this is the counter ball feature. Over here it says show custom sizing, right, show custom sizing, and yeah, it's this one, that's counter ball. And what I want to do is M5 show custom sizing. This option here, you need to check it to show your custom sizing. And the counter ball, right, you need to get all your information from the drawing. And you need to look over here. They ask you to they request to drill a small hole of diameter 12, right, which is this diameter, the diameter 12, and then counter bore to create another larger diameter, and the larger diameter is diameter 20, and the depth at which it goes down is 16 millimeters from the top. So from this edge to the bottom is 16 millimeters. Okay, so these are the values that you need to enter into the system. 12 for the first diameter, then for the counter bore diameter it's 20, And for the amount that is to be counterbought, the depth of it is 16. Okay, let's see. Yep, confirm 16. All right. I don't need a near side countersunk, so I turn that off. All right, and I click accept. Okay. It's something's not quite right, so I'll go back, edit feature, counter ball, show custom sizing. This is the custom. No, I need to enter in the values again. 12, 20, and 16. Right, I think earlier on when I unchecked the countersunk on the prehead, then it changed the options. So with this, I click the green tick and I get a counter ball feature here. Okay. Next, I'm going to draw the rectangle cutout from here, and I am going to make use of the sketch. And I'm not going to create the sketch on the sketch plane. I'll create the sketch on this surface. Right, normal tool, and I will draw a simple rectangle, and that's what it is. I sort of like drew it offset to the origin so that I can align it accurately. Press Ctrl and this orange dot, and what I'll do is I'll align it vertically so that it goes vertical, right? And the length of this rectangle is 12. Okay, and the width of the rectangle is 6. 6. And the bottom edge of the rectangle is dimension to the bottom of the part, and the bottom is 16 millimeters. Okay, with that I am going to extrude cut, and I'll extrude cut to next. Okay, that's more convenient for me, and I have the rectangle cutout that cuts through on one side, but it stops and it doesn't go through all. If I select through all, it will be cut on the other side as well. Okay, the last feature is the rib, and I need to create a sketch, and the sketch will be on the front plane. Okay, with that I'm going to draw the line. Click on the line icon, and all I need is one line, so I move the line close to the corner here. It's a silhouette because then you see an orange dot, you select it, and you go back down and you see the second orange dot and you click on it. Okay, once you're done, you press escape. The line is fully constrained. This is what you're looking for. Then you exit the sketch. Go to the feature tab and search for the rib icon, which is here. Okay, when you click on the rib icon and when you rotate, ensure that this gray arrow is pointing towards the portion whereby material will be generated. And the width of my rib is 8 millimeters. Okay, it's 8 millimeters, right? If your arrow is pointing the other way around, you need to check or uncheck this box so that it's in the correct direction. Okay, these options by default, it generates the rib on both sides mid-plane. Okay, if you click on either one of them, they will create the rib on either side, the left or the right. So with this, I click OK, and I'm able to accept it, right? And this, my friends, is part 4-3, right? It's a relatively simple part. And the commands introduced were mirror, rib, the constraints, and of course the hole wizard. Okay, thank you very much. See you again soon.